Welcome back to Over 50 and Flourishing, the podcast that celebrates the wisdom, resilience, and adventures of women who embrace life after 50. Today, we have an incredible guest who's going to share invaluable insights on a topic that's near and dear to many of our hearts. Love. Our guest today is no stranger to the world of love and relationships. He's a renowned dating coach and author with a wealth of experience and wisdom that he's been sharing with the world since 2003. His work has been featured in hundreds of media outlets, making him a trusted voice in the realm of dating and relationships. But that's not all. He's the author of 4 books, each filled with nuggets of advice that have helped countless of individuals find love and happiness. His blog boasts an impressive readership of over 35 million, proving that his insights resonate with people far and wide. Over 13,000 smart, successful women have taken his transformative video course called Love You, which is designed to help you find the love you deserve. It is no wonder he has been hailed as a love guru, but here's the real kicker. Our guest is not just a love expert. He is living proof that his principles work. He is happily married and currently resides in the vibrant city of Los Angeles with his wife. He is a living testament to the power of love and relationships, and we are so thrilled to have him share his wisdom with us today. Get ready for an episode that is chock full of insights, stories, and tips for anybody looking to find love and to flourish in life after 50. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Evan Mark Katz. Hey there, fabulous listeners. I want to share a little piece of my health and wellness journey with you because let's face it, we're all in this together. As time goes on, I have learned to be more mindful of the supplements and the products that I put into my body. And that's why I have fallen head over heels for Puri. What sets Puri apart? Well, Puri means pure origin. Their mission is clear: to offer pure, clean, and superior products that support our health and well-being. They use high-quality ingredients. Every batch is third-party tested against more than 200 contaminants, and they're certified by the Clean Label Project. See and feel the difference with Puri. I know you will love their supplements as much as I do. Puri is offering my listeners an amazing deal right now, 20% off site-wide. Just go to my special URL, puri.com/over50, and use my promo code over50. This even applies to already discounted subscriptions. You'll get almost a third off the price. Go to PUORI.com/over50. Don't miss out. Use promo code over50 at puri.com/over50. Hey there, over 50 listeners. I want to share something that has genuinely changed the game for me. Lumi Whole Body Deodorant. Yep, you heard right. Not just for the underarm area, but for the whole body. Created by an OB-GYN who realized that body odor isn't just an underarm issue. Lumi is pH optimized and clinically proven to block odor everywhere, from your pits to your privates, feet, and beyond. All right, so let's talk about the starter pack. It is perfect if you want to give Lumi a try, and it comes with a solid stick deodorant, a cream tube deodorant, and 2 free products of your choice, like a mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. Just head over to lumideodorant.com/over50, and for a limited time, returning customers can get $5 off their next purchase of $30 or more. Just use my code over50 at checkout. Lumi, seriously, it is a holiday game changer. Elevate your body odor game and thank me later. Head over to lumideodorant.com and use code over50. That's LUMEDEODORANT.com and use code over50. Can we talk about holiday madness for a sec? I mean, the grocery stores, especially the wine aisle, can feel like a maze I can't escape. But fear not, my friends, because I have discovered the holiday hack that has changed the game for me. First Leaf. All you have to do is hop onto First Leaf's website, answer a few questions about your wine preferences, and let their expert team do the magic. The result? A customized assortment of world-class wines based on your unique palate. Find the wine that you'll love this holiday season with First Leaf. Go to tryfirstleaf.com/over50 to sign up, and you'll get your first 6 hand-curated bottles for just $44.95. That's tryfirstleaf.com/over50. Try firstleaf.com/over50. Cheers to a stress-free holiday season with First Leaf. I don't even know where to start because, first of all, I can't thank you enough for being here. I think that what you have to offer my audience is so dialed in and so on point. Another P for this place that we are in life, in midlife. As you know, Evan, there are a million shifts that are taking place, and a lot of women are redefining what they want in midlife. They are examining and re-examining relationships, and many women, myself, after 2 marriages, a dear friend of mine after 28 years in marriage, now re-entering the dating force. It's like the workforce, but it's on the dating side. And, I am perplexed sometimes as to how complicated things can be, the emotionality. I think sometimes we do this tumult within ourselves. And I just want to talk to you about the reimmersion into this kind of brave new world. And there are so many things that we're going to talk about, but let's just talk about getting back in. What should our mindset be?
I think we begin with, I'm not even going to quote all the stuff that I've been doing for 20 years. I'm in the middle of a book right now that I want you to get this guy on the podcast next. His name's Brad Stulberg. Book is called Master of Change. I'm halfway through it. And he talks about the ability to be both resilient and to stick with your core values, and the ability to accept the fact that change is inevitable. And the worst thing we could do is try to fight the change. When we have the resistance to it, that's usually where all the stuff comes in. And so if you're saying, I'm in my 50s and I'm single and I'm starting over, what's the best way I can go about this, given that I might not have chosen this, but here's where I am. So it's learning to be adaptable and to have realistic expectations about what you can and can't control. And a lot of people's energy is focused on the things they can't control.
Yes.
And so that's where, as a dating coach for high achieving women, I try to give women their power back. And almost, there's something, I don't mean to be paternal, but there's something parental about it. Where
Totally.
if your kid doesn't know what to expect from high school, from bullies, from homework, from teachers, from sex, whatever, you have to kind of give them a set of expectations about how the world's going to be so that they're not blindsided by it. So when people go online and just think, oh, I'm going to find myself a husband, I'm just going to dial them up like I'm finding a book on Amazon, that's not how it works at all, because the book has choices too.
True. Well, and I'm so curious because I know that you have worked with probably thousands of women at this point. You've been doing it for so long. Why are we sabotaging ourselves? What are women doing based on your conversations, your research? What are you seeing? What are the patterns here?
Well, I'm going to get this out of the way right now because we didn't do our normal formal introduction. So I'm just going to drop this at the beginning instead of at the end. For all of your listeners, and I, again, did my little research on you before I got here. You've got a big platform and lots of listeners. I created a special gift. If you go to my website, evanmarkkatz.com/over50, I believe that's the one, /over50, I've got a free 25-page special report that answers your question in better depth than I can. It's called The 7 Massive Mistakes You're Making in Dating. And the interesting part about it is that it's challenging. As I said, the easier thing to do and the most common thing people do is complain. Right?
Yep.
My city sucks. Right? This dating app sucks. Men my age suck. They have nothing to say in their profile. They didn't put any thought into this. They text you once, and then you want them to ask you out, and they don't ask you out, or they push too hard to meet you, and they move too aggressively, and literally everything men do is wrong. And then we pathologize what's wrong with men, and that doesn't solve any problems. So given that your perception that your city sucks, and that men suck, and online dating sucks, and all the stuff that builds up inside of you, how are we going to make the best of this circumstance? And there is indeed an empowering way to go about dating that is more fun, more practical, more effective, that produces better results in real life than focusing on the negative, even though the negative's there and we don't want to deny anybody's experience.
Right, right. Well, I appreciate you not burying the lead. That's another news term, and throwing that offer out there for my listeners and my viewers that they have immediate access to this template of yours, which I think will be so helpful. What I love about this podcast and this format is I really like to take my time with people. So I'm going to hold you hostage for a while, if you don't mind, because I just want to pick your brain and I want people to feel like they have amassed an enormous amount of information to feel empowered. So first of all, thank you for the gift of your work, and thank you for the gift of your time. So now that we know that we are outward projecting, right? You know, a lot of women are coming out of relationships and they're angry, they're bitter, they've been hurt, scorned, scarred. So it's natural for the finger pointing to go outward, right? Men suck, dating suck, apps suck. It's not like it used to be back when I was in my 20s or 30s.
Right.
How do we reframe this now? And like you said, start looking at ourselves and start to get kind of a healthy approach as we enter this new phase.
The working definition of happiness that I have, that I like, and maybe it's just stuff you've been studying as well through your interviews, through your own personal work, is that it's largely the gap between reality and our expectations. All right. And so if reality is X and our expectations are Y, and we spend every day railing, I can't believe the sky is blue. I want the sky to be red. Red is my favorite color. That's a recipe for disaster, right? Whether or not red is a preferable color for the sky. And so when we go into online dating, all the focus is on what's wrong. And what if I could tell you that two things are simultaneously true, Dominique? A, 90% of men out there are completely worthless to you. They're not capable of being your partner. That would be pretty validating. Yep, that's pretty much what I'm seeing. 90% of men are indeed incapable of demonstrating that they could be the man I could anchor my life on. Right. Great. We've now
what?
But what does that mean? That means 10% are.
Yeah.
Now we're in business, which means dating's not different than anything else. If you were a news anchor and that career shifted in a way that you didn't plan and now you're here, right? How many jobs are you suited for?
Right.
You have to make the best of your circumstances given your skill set, right? And hey, you could retrain yourself and you could be an electrician. That's a perfectly viable career. You could make six figures doing that. But I don't want to be an electrician. That's not really me, right? You don't have to do 90% of jobs. You have to figure out what you can do with what you have.
Yes.
So giving people permission to say, these guys are icky. These guys are boring. These guys are stupid. These are guys that I would pass up on the subway. Well, yeah. If you were to throw a dart on a subway, what are the odds that you hit your husband? Pretty minimal. So why do we expect online dating to be better? It's literally a cross section of everybody you walk by in the mall. So once we get aligned with, 90% of people aren't my guy, all I have to do is look for the 10% and choose one guy from the 10%. Suddenly this is a fun quest rather than a dispiriting experience.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That puts it in perspective because we've all heard the same odds, 100, 10, 1. Out of 100 people or 100 job opportunities or 100 whatever, 10 may be viable, one's going to be the keeper. So basically what you're saying is out of 100 people out there, it's the 10% rule, and then you're going to find your guy.
Right. And so I have systems for people to do this because there's understanding it and then there's living it in practice. The same way as a personal trainer at the gym, you could read an article in Shape magazine about 7-minute abs, but if
you're going to stick with it.
Right. So what I do is basically create systems for people to evaluate men online, to market themselves, to increase the quality of men, the quality of the interaction, to show people how to flirt, to go from the dating site to the text, to the phone call, to the date. So we give people systems. So this thing that seems really chaotic becomes just another thing that I got to follow like a recipe. And then if you follow a recipe, the cookies usually turn out okay.
Yeah, imagine that. I mean, we need a skill set for everything that we do well. We want to be a good parent. We have to have a skill set, a good spouse, a good employee, a good boss. These things don't haphazardly come. And I love the fact that you are talking about developing a skill set to be able to get in the game, to manage it well, and to have a strategy. So you mentioned a couple of things. You were kind of talking about, I want to empower my women. I want to teach them how to embark on this journey. So what are some of the things that you teach women? I mean, kind of break it down for us.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be evasive. I'm going to give you as much as I can here today. You're literally talking about my life's work. I've got this massive online course called Love You, which is 280 videos, 26 weeks of material. All right, month one is on confidence, then meeting men, dating, understanding men, relationships, commitment. So what do we do? I got 280 pieces of advice for you. So if we're starting at the very beginning, let's focus on what it's not. The key to finding love is not which site should I go on, because that is the equivalent of which gym should I go to lose weight. It doesn't matter. They all work. And that's most people's focus. Where is he? Where is he? He's as if the problem with men is finding them.
Yeah.
Right? We're not pig truffles. We're like, we're not looking around. But that's the way it feels. We're like rooting around to try to find this needle in a haystack, and it's not that, right? So it doesn't matter which site you're on. Whatever site you're on is going to work fine. There are sites that might be more temperamentally suited to you, but you can't say what the best dating site is if I'm talking to a 28-year-old in Seattle and a 71-year-old in New York City. They're going to have different experiences. The good thing is these sites are all free or relatively inexpensive. So setting up a profile on a site is where you begin instead of what's the perfect site for me. Because of my age, I'm 51, I tend to veer towards old school online dating sites, which data also shows for people over 50 are still viable options, even though people don't think they are.
What do you mean like old school dating sites?
Written profiles and emails, right? What they did with dating apps is they removed the written profile and they removed the email. They've basically taken a shallow medium like Match.com and made it shallower. So it's now just looks based. And then we complain, why do I feel so disposable? Well, what did he do to meet you? He flicked his thumb. He's made no investment in you, which is why it's so different from our generation where you met someone at a bar in the 90s and they wrote down their phone number. like it was a very different exchange. Now we could literally meet people by swiping. And then we expect them to be really great people. Why? They're strangers who did this while they were eating dinner.
Yeah. Right?
How dare he swipe on me and then not ask me out? Why? He did that to 100 women tonight.
Swipe or no swiping?
I got your reference, by the way.
Good.
So I feel like we have an unrealistic set of expectations about how this is supposed to go. If you're going to be in a medium that's about high volume, it's going to have lower quality experience. Conventional online dating, Match.com, OkCupid, Plenty of Fish, old school, go on your desktop, write a profile. You'll give more information about yourself. You'll be able to read more about him. It'll be easier to make conversation that can carry itself instead of swipe right, text, hey, what's up? Not much you free this weekend? Right? Why does dating suck? It's because we've removed the personal part of it for the efficiency of dating apps. And that's where the world is at. We don't want to get hurt. We don't want to waste time. So it's like this.
Quick. Yeah. But what do we,
and it doesn't do service to any of us. Nobody enjoys that.
Yeah. Interesting. I mean, I will, a testimony to Match.com. My mother met and married a gentleman from Match. And the last gentleman that she was with also came from Match. And my mother was in the dating scene on Match into her 80s.
And that's lovely. And I endorse that. But it's not even a matter of endorsing Match, because I could tell you stories about people who got married from Tinder and Hinge and Bumble. I could tell you about people who got married back in the day from sites that don't even exist anymore. Yeah. So we don't need to worry about the site. It's what are you doing on the site? Like, what are you doing at the gym? Are you the person with the personal trainer who's kicking your ass to get you to a higher plane? Or are you the person who's sitting on the treadmill reading a book and not breaking a sweat? They're both at the gym. They're having very different experiences at the gym.
Yeah, they
So,
are. I mean,
yeah.
based on what you're saying though, Evan, I mean, are dating sites kind of the end all be all today? Is that where we have to go because it's gotten so complicated? Or are you meeting singles and women in midlife who are, I guess, preferring the more organic route of meeting people in restaurants, bars, churches, through friends, things like that?
We all prefer that. And
Sure.
anybody who's ever come to me and said, Evan, I hate online dating. I want to work with you, but I hate online dating. I'll say, all right, it's fine that you hate online dating. I don't blame you for hating online dating. If you can get yourself one date per week without online dating, we never have to talk about online dating again.
Mm,
20 years, no one's taken me up on it. Right? Because
interesting.
meeting in real life is
It's hard.
challenging. Right? We work from home. Our friends are mostly married. Right?
Yep.
The stigma about dating at work. There's many reasons that it's challenging to meet people in real life. So am I pro real life? Yeah, of course. I want you to have a real life. Online dating is your supplement since
Mm,
real life doesn't produce too many leads. And this is a business. We need lead generation. And
that's true.
if you're talking to 10 guys online, remember, most of them are going to weed themselves out via email, via text, via phone call prior to even meeting. So you
Hmm.
need to have 10 guys to get one good date a week. If you're
Yeah.
not talking to 10 good guys, you're not going to get a date a week.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it is a numbers game. And I think one of the greatest frustrations that women feel is the honesty quotient online. Is he being honest? Is he honest about his height, his weight, his, should I list my true age? I mean, there's so much reservation, hesitation, fear about transparency on both sides. So,
Right.
how do you coach women in that realm?
It's funny. We talked right before we got on air. Maybe we were already on air because you have your right? Like we were talking about previous media experiences. I was on the
Yeah.
CBS Early Show. I don't know, 16 years ago, pretty long time ago,
Mm.
and they were looking for someone to defend women who lie about their age online.
Uh,
Right, and I was talking to Leslie Jane Seymour. If you know Leslie Jane
mhm.
Seymour,
Yep.
I'm going to be on her podcast in February. Talking to Leslie
Comes
Jane
full circle.
Seymour. She might not remember this, but I remember her because I don't go on TV very often. And she was saying, hey, women over 50 have to be really upfront about their age, right? Like, this is who I am, embrace it. We don't want to run from it. We don't want to hide from it. This is what 50 looks like. This is what 60 looks like. And again, I totally get that in theory. But playing devil's advocate, why do
Mm.
women lie about their age? Dominique,
Yeah,
you
well, I
want to
can
tell
tell
me?
you, my mother did because she wanted opportunity. She felt like she would have been turned down because her age didn't reflect her behavior,
Right.
mental age, acumen, ability. And so we look, she and I had these heated conversations and debates because I'm like, look at you. You're an amazing looking 70 something, 80 something, whatever. I mean, you should be proud. And she's like, but honey, you don't understand. A
Right.
man is going to see that number and he is not going to be interested. He's going to be thinking, she's going to get ill. Something's going to happen. It's a buzzkill. And
Right.
it frustrated me, but I see what you're saying.
I'm kind of as a coach, I try to provide information. I'm not even
Yeah.
trying to lead the witness in any direction. I'm going to say, hey, if you choose X, here's what's going to happen. If you lie about your age, right? If you are 62 and you
Hmm.
choose to say you're 59 because you want to be given a chance by those men,
Hmm.
I understand. Why do people lie? It's because telling people are insecure that telling the truth won't work. They won't get in the door if they tell the truth. Right? And this is women and men. If you're a woman, you happen to date men, so you notice when men lie about their height and the 5'10" guy becomes 5'7", and you're like, oh,
Right.
right? But women do the exact same thing around age. I completely understand why men have their arbitrary age criteria. If I'm 60, it's 50 to 59 or 45, right? It's anything younger than me is fine. A day older, you're dead to me.
Yep. Yeah.
And so I understand why women have often chosen to do this. And I can make that case, but know that you're also starting off a relationship
With a lie.
with a potential lie. And
Yeah.
you're hoping that someone gets over that and
Yep.
understands this intellectual concept. The only reason I lied is not because I'm a liar. It's because I know the algorithm is not going to feed me enough people, and I need to be seen. So my methodology has always been for 20 years, fool the algorithm, don't fool the person you're dating. All right. If you're writing a little 200-word essay like I do for my clients on Match.com, last line, oh, by the way, I'm really 62. Boom. Now, no one could say, if your age is 58 on there, no one could say you tried to fool them. If a guy doesn't read that, that's on him. So this is a way of changing your perception in the algorithm, giving guys the opportunity to see you while not being intentionally deceptive. And it's a hedge. Someone still might have a problem with it, but to me, it's the least bad alternative.
Makes sense. It's so fascinating, the strategy to me, and the moral dilemma and conundrum that is for a lot of people, for all the reasons that we talked about. And there is so much more to slice and dice when it comes to dating, online dating, getting back into the scene. I know we need to take a real quick break and thank our sponsors so that we can be here. But I am joined by Evan Mark Katz. Love you. And we are breaking down his program, his methodology behind dating. And if you are looking to get back in the game, his strategies will help get you a catch. We'll be right back. Hey there, fabulous listeners. I want to share a little piece of my health and wellness journey with you because let's face it, we're all in this together. As time goes on, I have learned to be more mindful of the supplements and the products that I put into my body. And that's why I have fallen head over heels for Puri. You've heard me talk about the wonders of collagen before, right? Our body's natural production slows down as we age, affecting muscles, bones, joints, and more. Recently, I've been incorporating Puri's CP1 Pure Collagen Peptides into my routine. And let me tell you, it has been a game changer. Tested #1 out of 28 collagens, it is a pure, unflavored marvel that mixes seamlessly with any beverage. But that's not all. Puri's CP3 Beauty Collagen is another star in my wellness routine. Mixed with hyaluronic acid, biotin, vitamin B6, zinc, and vitamin C, it's become my go-to for skin, hair, and nails. Plus, the lemon flavor adds a refreshing twist to my daily water intake. What sets Puri apart? Well, Puri means pure origin. Their mission is clear: to offer pure, clean, and superior products that support our health and well-being. They use high-quality ingredients. Every batch is third-party tested against more than 200 contaminants, and they're certified by the Clean Label Project. See and feel the difference with Puri. I know you will love their supplements as much as I do. Puri is offering my listeners an amazing deal right now, 20% off site-wide. Just go to my special URL, puri.com/over50, and use my promo code over50. This even applies to already discounted subscriptions. You'll get almost a third off the price. Go to PUORI.com/over50. Don't miss out. Use promo code over50 at puri.com/over50. Hey there, over 50 listeners. I want to share something that has genuinely changed the game for me. Lumi Whole Body Deodorant. Yep, you heard right. Not just for the underarm area, but for the whole body. Now, I've got to be real with you. I have tried my fair share of deodorants, but Lumi, it's on a whole other level. Created by an OB-GYN who realized that body odor isn't just an underarm issue. Lumi is pH optimized and clinically proven to block odor everywhere, from your pits to your privates, feet, and beyond. So I tried Lumi, and it is a game changer. The best part here, it keeps working for up to 72 hours. Yes, 72 hours of odor control. If that's not something to be thankful for this holiday season, I don't know what is. Now, personally, what I love most about Lumi is that it's safe to use anywhere on your body. If you can think of it, Lumi can go there. No more worrying about unwanted smells in those hard-to-reach places. All right, so let's talk about the starter pack. It is perfect if you want to give Lumi a try, and it comes with a solid stick deodorant, a cream tube deodorant, and 2 free products of your choice, like a mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. Just head over to lumideodorant.com/over50, and for a limited time, returning customers can get $5 off their next purchase of $30 or more. Just use my code over50 at checkout. Lumi, seriously, it is a holiday game changer. Elevate your body odor game and thank me later. Head over to lumideodorant.com and use code over 50. That's LUMEDEODORANT.com and use code over 50. Welcome back. My guest today is Evan Mark Katz. He is here to get your dating life shored up and in order so that you don't have fear getting back into the dating workforce. And, as we were talking earlier, Evan, I really like that analogy of how you sort of explain it. Like, yeah, you're getting back into the workforce. So you have to have strategies and you have to have plans going in place here. And, we were talking about dating websites. We were talking about honesty on these dating websites. We had a really interesting conversation about that and about how do you bridge that gap between fully telling the truth, getting close to telling the truth. And, it's a hard one because a lot of women don't want to feel marginalized, slighted, feel like they just missed the window. You're not in my window. We want to get in the game and we want to be judged and heard and interpreted for who we are so we can really see and feel if we are a true candidate and vice versa. So
Right.
your approach has been what I'm gathering from you is that dating websites are kind of a must these days just because of the odds. The odds are against us in the more traditional forms of meeting people, friends, family, coworkers, church, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you're saying, all right, put yourself out there. Let's get out there. But now we've got to get out there in a very healthy way. And a lot of women, myself included, on the heels of a divorce, there's, there are feelings, there are things that you hang on to. There could be frustrations. Like we said earlier, all men are bad, or, we these big, broad generalizations that we have to let go of because nobody's going to get a fair shot if we're generalizing and we're coming to the equation with something negative. So I want to really now dive into healthy strategies about how we need to approach the dating situation and some common mistakes that we make when we start dating. So let's first talk about healthy you moving forward.
You just said a mouthful right there. So I'm trying to keep
I
all
did.
that in my head and build on what you said. Before we leave the last category, before I actually answer your question, I want to take a second to look back.
Mm-hmm.
You talked about the experience as a woman of I just want to be given a chance to equip myself and be judged on who I am, not on my age. All right. Men can say the exact same thing. So when you, and I'm not, right, I'm agnostic about it. I'm a whatever works person, right? I mean, no one wants to advocate lying, but if anything, I want to understand people don't lie because they have low character. They lie because they're afraid that telling the truth will eliminate them from contention before they get started.
Yeah.
But this exact same logic applies to men. So if you're a woman who's changed her age from 62 to 58, don't want to hear anything about the guy who's 5'7" who said he was 5'9". Like it's the same stuff.
Right. But isn't that what makes people so frustrated about all of this?
Well, yeah, because people lie out of necessity. We could say, well, this proves everybody's horrible. I think we've already proven that that's not the case.
Yeah.
Right? That's
You're
not the case at all.
Yeah.
It's almost like the political state of America right now. We need to do more humanizing and understanding and accepting. If you're a woman and men are the people you're dating who are frustrating you, you're going to have a whole story about what's wrong with men. If you're a man, you're going to have that same story about women. Mm-hmm. So we need to provide some validation. Okay, everybody's experience is real, but we're mostly caught in our bubbles, in our blinders. No one else is helping us light the way. And then we're trying to make big decisions that are going to impact the rest of our life. So if a guy's experience online, and this is a very typical male experience, is I get on a dating app, right? I swipe right on 500 women. 95% of them ignore me. That's what it's like to be a man. Most women have never seen any rejection like that in their entire lives.
Wow. That's a different perspective.
So we start there, right? Oh yeah, the cutest guy on the website like ghosted me after a couple texts. He had to swipe on 150 women to get 10 decent ones to text, and most of them fell off because she found someone she liked better.
Right.
So he's having some version of the same experience, but maybe worse. Right? because men still, for better or worse, are the ones who are
The
initiating.
leaders. Yes.
Women often sincerely take care of themselves better, right? And so there's a lot of like just normal guys. If you're a 55-year-old graying, balding guy who is a good man, who has a decent job, who knows how to treat a woman, you're getting nothing. Online dating, specifically online dating on dating apps where there's very little written information, is skewed to the top 20% of men in looks, and even more so to the top 5% of men in looks. And so if we're going to get the full picture of online dating, it includes that, not just how horrible it is for you, and the awful things men do. There's no defense of it. All right. So there's always an explanation as to why someone does something. And I think the explanation matters. And we try to just sort of ignore that. Why does a guy want to meet me so quickly? Well, maybe because he's had 10 conversations this week with women he thought things were going well with, who just blocked him, ignored him, found someone else they liked better. She went on 3 dates this week. She doesn't have any room for any more. So someone had to get cut.
Right.
So why did you get so angry at me? Because you're the only person who had the kindness to say, "Hey, Brad, thanks, but no thanks. I'm seeing someone else." And he's like, "Screw you." You're the only one who even bothered to give him the time of day. He needed an outlet. So there's so much, which again is never to defend bad behavior, but to understand how we got here is important to humanize the individuals. 75% of the people out there are nice, normal people who want to have a relationship, who don't know how to date online, who don't know what they did wrong in their marriage. Right? They just want someone to love them and accept them. But no one learns this as a skill set. So that's the thing that I try to teach in Love You is dating and relationships as a skill set. And I get women like, "Why can't you do this for men? Men need this." You're right. They do. They just won't pay for it.
And there it is.
There it is.
And there it is. It's true. But you are here. This is my takeaway. And what you're bringing to the equation is this. You are sharing and showing that this is the ultimate in vulnerability on both sides. On both sides. It's scary as heck. There's an enormous amount of rejection. When we go back to your numbers, the 10%, the one that's going to come out of that is a lot of rejection that we have to be prepared for entering the scene in terms of receiving it as well as giving it.
Well, if I told you that, hey, and I tell this to my clients, you're in Ivy League school, right? You're smart, strong, successful, attractive. You're all the things that you think you are. I'm not denying it. You're worth a lot. Your standards should be high. Great. You're in Ivy League school and Cornell takes 10% of its applicants. You could take 10% of your applicants too. Now, if I say it's 10% and she's like, "Evan, I went online, it's like 0.01%. Well, now we have a different problem.
Yeah.
All right. We have a different problem in that you can't fill your freshman class. You could be in Ivy League school, but if you think literally 0.01% of people are worthy of your texting, now you have narrowed it too much to the point where no one can jump the bar. So we're always vacillating between these things, right? I tell women who have complained there's no one online, open up to 10% and we're in business. And then there's people who talk to too many people and have really negative experiences, and they need to be more selective and set healthy boundaries. And I'm talking to both of them simultaneously. So you can tell based on your experience, do I have too many dates? Well, we have a technique for that. Do I have not enough dates? A technique for that. So wherever you are, it is again, a little bit like a health journey. Oh, it's my back that's hurting. It's my hamstrings are tight. Right. The more we can dial in what's not working, there's always a solution, but it's hard to say to an individual listening to right now, where do we begin? We begin at the beginning. How do I write a profile on a dating site that attracts the most attention, the kind of attention I want, and nobody knows how to do it?
Right. And talk to me about the importance of self-work before you even enter this pool, because I think a lot of times people will end relationships and that quiet, empty space is really scary and it's dark. And a lot of people just want to get in, right? I need a date. I need to get out there. But there hasn't been enough maybe healing and enough self-reflection and enough work to figure out what it is that's truly going to make me you, her, him happy. So what do you encourage people to do during that time?
It's a really good question. It's a bigger question. Anything we're doing, we probably do an hour on any one of your questions. So
You're coming back.
I just want to acknowledge you're asking really, really good questions, and I don't like to give just surface answers.
Sure.
So I think I would push back against the prevailing wisdom. Right. And you gave the prevailing wisdom, and I'm not trying to be contrary. Yes, people need to do self-care. Yes, people need to learn to be alone and fall in love with themselves again after their marriage. All true. You don't want to just be a rebound bouncing from the wrong person to the wrong person to the wrong person.
Right.
I also think that can turn into its own pathology, where someone says, I need to do the work. And next thing you know, the work's taken 7 years.
Yeah.
And she hasn't gone on one date, but she's done a lot of therapy. She's done a lot of reading. She's done a lot of meditating. She spent a lot of time with girlfriends, and she hasn't gone out with one guy. And that presents a different kind of problem.
It's avoidance.
Right? Where like the work becomes the pretext to avoid putting yourself out and meeting men and being vulnerable, right? And all the things that come with dating. So in Love You, most people come to me, I don't mean to talk about my course, but people come to me when they're at a bottom. Nobody calls me to say, hey, Evan, my life is great. I just turned 50. I just turned 60. I just got ghosted by 3 guys in a week. I just got out of a toxic 3-year relationship. I always get women at the bottom, right, when they're in change.
Yeah.
First 7 weeks of the course, we don't do any dating. Right. All first month is on confidence, past baggage. Why even bother? Right. Learning to reframe the past. Some of the stuff we talked about earlier, but how, the last guy you dated is not the last guy on earth. The next guy has nothing to do with the last guy. He shouldn't be judged for the sins. Right? So we go through all that stuff. On week 7 of Love You, we talk about online dating. And then generally we're ready to take off. So could someone spend a year mourning ex relationship? Yes. Is it bad? No. But if one's goal is, I don't want to be alone. I actually want partnership, companionship, sex, love, attention, something. How long should one have to sit on the sidelines before they do that? And so if the temptation is to say, as long as it takes, I'm always going to be like, all right, let's dust your knees off and let's get you back and I'll protect you. As I said, it's a little parental, right? Is your kid going to give up sports because they got hurt? No, you can get back up. Just we have to learn from our mistakes. And that's the key, right? And we can learn from those mistakes faster than a lot of people give us credit for. Yeah. No disrespect to the many, many bright, talented therapists out there. I have one. I'm not anti-therapy. Coaching's different. Therapy is about looking at your past. What did your parents do to you? How did they screw you up? How did they make you anxious? How did they make you feel shame? Right? What did your ex do to you? It's all backward looking. Coaching's forward looking. All right, we got 30 years ahead of us. What are we going to do with these 30 years? When do you want that process to start? So if you're ready for it to start, the rest of your life, the big blank canvas, that's when you call someone like me. Yeah. So if someone needs healing, God bless you. Right. But when you're ready to go forward, I go forward. I do not spend time in people's past because everybody's been hurt, damaged, broken, surprised, disappointed, devastated. Yep. How much do we want to dwell?
Yeah, no, it's true. And the analogy of the windshield versus the rearview mirror, to go forward, your windshield is large in size. Your rearview mirror is small. So there's a reason. The rearview reflects the past. The windshield reflects the future and where present and future and where you're going. So it should be a bigger scope and a bigger perspective, or else, like you said, you can get stuck in the past and find yourself sitting on the sidelines for 7 years and wondering, where did they go? And those were 7 precious years where you could have met somebody who just, lit your world on fire. Can we talk about holiday madness for a sec? I mean, the grocery stores, especially the wine aisle, can feel like a maze I can't escape. That crowded space, the endless options, and my limited wine knowledge, it's a puzzle I'd rather not solve. But fear not, my friends, because I have discovered the holiday hack that has changed the game for me. First Leaf. They have turned the stress of finding new wines into a breeze. Now imagine personalized shipments of bottles curated just for you, delivered right to your doorstep. No maze, no stress, just pure wine bliss. And here's the genius part. All you have to do is hop onto First Leaf's website, answer a few questions about your wine preferences, and let their expert team do the magic. The result? A customized assortment of world-class wines based on your unique palate. And the adventure doesn't end there. Let's talk about convenience. You get to choose when your personalized wine box arrives, so no more stressing about missed deliveries. And here's the kicker. Every bottle is priced 30% lower than what you'd find at a wine store. Plus, First Leaf backs it all up with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. I personally have been enjoying some new Cabernets and Merlots, even though I thought I was just a Pinot kind of gal. And the process has been a breeze. Tailored wines on my schedule and the satisfaction of finding new favorites. That's a win-win. Find the wine that you'll love this holiday season with First Leaf. Go to tryfirstleaf.com/over50 to sign up, and you'll get your first 6 hand-curated bottles for just $44.95. That's tryfirstleaf.com/over50. Tryfirstleaf.com/over50. Cheers to a stress-free holiday season with First Leaf. Hey there, coffee lovers. Holidays just around the corner, and you know what that means. Cozy moments, festive gatherings, and of course, a cup of delicious coffee to savor. But let's get real. Finding a high-quality coffee that's both convenient and flavorful can be a challenge. Picture this. You are tired of settling for burnt, messy, or mediocre coffee, and the drive-thru, well, that's just not cutting it. That's where Cometeer comes in, changing the coffee game with hyper-fresh, flash-frozen coffee that delivers incredible flavor in seconds wherever you are. Now, I've personally experienced the magic of Cometeer, and let me tell you, it has become my holiday go-to. Flash frozen format is not only easy to prepare, but it packs a punch of unmatched taste. The quality of flavor from the very first sip is truly something special. Cometeer is engineered for unparalleled quality and taste, brewed from craft coffee beans, sourced from the best roasters like Intelligista, Onyx, George Howell, and more. And the best part? No burnt or diluted taste, just optimal flavor, flash frozen to lock in freshness. It's delivered right to your door on dry ice, then kept in your freezer until you're ready for that perfect cup. Whether you prefer hot coffee, iced coffee, lattes, or more, Cometeer has you covered with 100% recyclable capsules that make cleanup a breeze. Go to Cometeer.com/over50 for an exclusive holiday starter pack and get a free travel tumbler when you sign up. That's a free fellow travel tumbler when you sign up at Cometeer.com/over50. You mentioned something that I really, really liked, and you talked about building confidence. To me, there is nothing sexier than somebody who is confident. And there's a huge difference between confidence and cocky.
Right.
Confidence is self-esteem. Confidence is knowing who you are, what you're made of, and coming to the table with your attributes. How do you get people to dial in their confidence? Because that, to me, is what makes somebody light up a room.
All right. So confidence is the universal most attractive trait for men and women.
Yeah.
Right. I've heard men complain women are gold diggers. No, they're confidence diggers. Right. And men like confidence too. They'll put up with insecure, but men respond to confidence as well. Right. It's the central metaphor of Love You is you're the CEO of your love life. Men are interns applying for a job. Right. So that's what we try to tap into. And that's sort of the richer irony. And again, I don't, want to make this about you. One of the richer ironies is that everybody who works with me is confident. That's how she became a superstar world beater out there. That's how she ended up at the top of her career. That's how she made enough money to retire. That's how she has the nice home. Nobody got here without some big dollop of confidence and belief in their ability. But it's like someone who's got like one big muscle and one atrophied muscle. It's the same person, but someone who put all their energy into their career is really tough, really resilient, knows how to navigate a chaotic world, a man's world, whatever it is. Same woman, zero confidence when it comes to setting boundaries and choosing men. So we need to take that thing that we know she already has and translate it to this, right? To act as if you're the CEO of your love life instead of the intern. And the metaphor to me works because most women who may have college educations, six-figure jobs, right, in relationships, please pick me. Please love me. Please don't abandon me. I will bend over backwards to make you happy. Even though I'm unhappy myself, I will put a
I'm
smile on it.
sacrificing me. Yes.
Right. So if we can say, hey, who you are at work, let's bring her into love. Right?
Yeah.
And the guy has to show you why he's worthy of keeping the job. He doesn't get the job because he's cute.
Right.
Just like you wouldn't hire someone just how he looked in a suit or straight off the resume. Nor should a guy be able to keep a job. He may have been a great interviewer, but if 3 months later he shows up once a week, why does this guy get to keep his job? No, he gets fired.
Yeah.
Right. So a lot of women hire men based on the interview process. His profile was good. He did everything right in the first month. And then he starts to treat her really poorly. And the intern stays at the company, getting a salary without doing any work.
Yeah.
So we need to set better boundaries. And it doesn't mean being bitchy or negative. No. It's more like, hey, man, I gave you a chance.
Self-protection.
Right. Right. Yes. And because people have struggled with this is a whole lifetime. That's why coaching has value is I will not let people deviate from that. I have this Post-it thing that I do. Right. This is a feeling that you're going for. The feeling in a relationship is safe, heard, and understood. And virtually no woman I've ever worked with has ever had a relationship with a man where she felt safe, heard, and understood for long periods of time. Moments.
Correct. Yes, moments.
Right. But it's a deep, unabiding love, the way you love your children. Right. Have you ever been loved by a man the way you love your children? If not, you haven't begun to live. Yeah. So now we say, okay, I'm going to have someone who loves me the way I love my children. That's my North Star. Nothing else will do. And either he's getting it done or he's gone. And now we're the CEO. And you don't need years of therapy. You just need to fire bad interns faster.
Love that. And how many times have we taken on an intern and we have provided excuses for that intern? Oh, but he's, this, or oh, he's a great lover, or oh, he makes me feel this way, or oh, he's a provider. But there's that sixth sense, that calling, if you're a person of faith, God speaking to you saying, no, this isn't right. I'm not being treated respectfully, or I'm not getting this, or this isn't hitting my value system, or this is exceeding my boundary, or whatever. But we allow it to perpetuate because there are other things that we like that are so good. And it becomes kind of this crazy cortisol dopamine cycle. And it's so unhealthy and it's so bad. And you're spot on when you talk about boundaries and saying, look, you either fit within this realm that I have dictated is right for me, or you don't. And firing is hard.
Right, if you don't have support. Because then you just repeat your patterns, and we treat this guy like he's the last guy on earth.
Yep.
Right. Here's a guy I didn't know 6 weeks ago. Right. Swept me off my feet, and now I'm gonna die without him. No, you'll be right back where you were before you even knew he existed. Mm-hmm. So we put so much on making things work, where if you really are a CEO and you have a worthwhile company, this resume goes in the trash. Most of the resumes go in the trash. It's okay. And if I have to hold this job open for a few years before I could fill that corner office, it's worth it. I would rather have no one at this company than someone who's bringing it down. So how do we know, Dominique? We listen to our feelings. And that is surprisingly the most shocking thing I've learned as a man who coaches women. Women more sensitive, more intuitive, and more likely to ignore their own feelings.
Yes, totally. And override with logic and thought and justification. We justify a lot.
Right. So it's again, I don't know if the word is ironic, but if the one thing that everybody who's listening to this gets out of this is listen to your feelings, they don't lie.
They don't.
So he could be a Top Chef Supermodel Rhodes Scholar, but if he hasn't texted you in 4 days, he's a shitty boyfriend.
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
If you can't speak your mind to him reasonably,
Yes. Right. He's
and
a crappy boyfriend.
he pulls away, shuts down, I don't want to do this, slams the door, calls you names,
Bye.
you don't need to spend 1 second more. So it becomes a lot easier. More than any other person that I've met in my industry, my solution to relationship problems is breaking up.
Mm. Yeah. But I think to even prevent, and granted, look, you have to dabble in order to know, and breakups are inevitable, right? It's just inevitable. And there's doing everything well. You want to set yourself up for the game. And in doing so, you talk about confidence, you talk about setting your framework and your boundaries, and you have that. So you have a strategy going into this, but you also know that not everything's going to be a win. Not everything's going to be a hit. You have to be an effective communicator throughout. You have to stand true to your core values. And if it's not working, then you respectfully have to bow out. And there may be a cycle of this that takes place until you find somebody who, I don't know, checks more
But it
boxes.
means iterating and learning from your experience. And that's another area that, again, I work with women. If I talk to men, it would be the same story. But the women I work with tend to struggle. They can't get out of their own way. So the terminology I use is that you got a broken man picker. It's like having a broken GPS. If you have a broken
Sure.
GPS, you're not going to get to your destination. If you can't trust your own judgment, so that's more what I try to do than anything. I'm not a matchmaker. I'm not going to hand you your soulmate. I'm going to fix your GPS so you could trust yourself. Yes, I could work with this. No, he's not my guy. So you don't and I just got off the phone with someone who's like, yeah, my whole life, she's in her late 50s. Her whole life is 15-year relationship that she knew 6 months in should have gotten out of.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Rebound, 5-year relationship. Guy said he never wanted to commit. Did it for 5 years anyway. So there's so much pain that we could avoid just by listening to our feelings right up front. And so I just hold up the mirror and hold people accountable to that. Not my guy, not my guy. It's like trying on a pair of shoes. If the shoes don't fit, you don't have to get angry at your foot. You don't have to give up on shoes entirely.
Just don't wear the Louboutins.
But let's keep on trying on shoes. And if every pair of shoes you try on are Jimmy Choo red patent leather heels and they always make your foot bleed, maybe you need to try a different pair of shoes that don't look as nice. Some Uggs. The shoes might not look as nice.
Right. But they'll feel good.
But that is dating. Because if you're trying to build a relationship with someone for 30 years, you need shoes that are comfortable. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I talk about relationships as easy. Love is about a lack of anxiety. It's about having a really high tolerance for that person's flaws.
Yes.
Right? Because if you're with someone and his flaws on character, kindness, consistency, communication, commitment, if his flaws are so great that you're constantly anxious, should I stay? Should I go? Should I talk to him? Imagine having a black cloud over your head every single day. And that's probably, without knowing, that's probably what at a certain point your marriage was there's a black cloud. There was a seed of something good. And now the clouds don't even let me feel it anymore.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, we talked, you actually mentioned a little bit about this, and I want to do a deeper dive. My Nana used to say to me, if it's too hard, it ain't worth it. And I struggled with that because my whole career, everything has been about work, pushing hard, hard hours, hard work for the reward and the payoff. But her point was, in a relationship, if it's too hard, it ain't worth it. And I can tell you from past experience, it's been hard. And I'm not going to do hard anymore because it's like I see the light. It's not supposed to be, right, Evan?
No, God bless you for saying that. I'm glad your Nana got there before I did. That is my variation on your Nana's saying is good relationships are easy.
Yeah.
If your relationship isn't easy, it's not that good. And so when people, right, the story is relationships take work. That's the story.
Yes, I know. It's a narrative.
You know what takes work? Bad relationships take a lot of work.
Yes.
So I'm married 15 years this week. It's not work. It's effort.
Sure.
Right? It is effort to help my wife as she's going through menopause. It's an effort to come up with something interesting to do for our anniversary. It's an effort to agree on how we should handle everything with the kids. But we're fundamentally on the same page 95% of the time, and the 5% is negotiable. And I can't tell you how many people are like 95% of the time. My marriage is like 50% of the time. Like half of everything we said was a fight.
Yeah.
Your ratio is really off. That's not normal. Right. And so I would never even get into a relationship with someone where that was the default setting. And some people do that. And then they say, but we've been together for so long, but.
Right.
And then the next thing they know, they've lost the prime years of their life. How many women do you know who stayed together for the kids at the expense of their own happiness?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The ultimate in sacrifice. And I'm glad you brought that up. I remembered my parents were struggling in my teenage years, really struggling. And they stayed together for me. And I kept saying, please don't. As a child of parents who are struggling, it is an unhealthy dynamic. And I think oftentimes people think they need to stay together for that unit. But if the unit's toxic and if there's smoke in the house, what good is it? And it's not to say not to try to work on it and resolve your conflicts. I'm not saying, break camp and run. Yes, try to resolve. Yes, try to work. But if nothing's happening, doing something and falling on your sword in the sake of the traditional unit, you're right. I mean, you're wasting years, and you're also potentially emotionally harming children and not providing a good model of how a healthy marriage should function.
Yeah. So a huge part of my work is it's in this in-between space that nobody really takes. There's all the people who talk about the people who messed you up in your past,
Right.
the therapists. And then there's the people who are the relationship counselors, the couples counselors. How are we going to take something broken and make it work? I occupy this very narrow space in between them. I want to show you how to date with confidence, abundance, joy, discrimination, what I call being the benevolent CEO, creating the workplace that everybody would want to work, right? Having high standards, but being a reasonable human being, right? And if you do that, and you meet one guy a week, you make good decisions in that first 6 weeks of dating, all these things we're talking about don't happen.
Right.
Either you avoid a big mistake. Oh, he's divorced for 6 days. Not going to do that. Oh, he's long distance. Not going to do that. Oh, he said he never wants to get married again, but I want to get married. Not going to do that. So we say no up front to all these red flags. And what does it leave us with? A really narrow lane. Who's in the narrow lane? Our 10%.
Yeah.
Right? So we have to have the courage to say no to things that are diversions. Oh, this guy's really hot. He seems interested in me. This guy's really rich. He's sweeping off my feet. I'm just going to go with it. All right. And the next thing you know, you've taken a detour and you're nowhere near your destination. Your destination is to be loved unconditionally.
Yes.
So we have to have the courage to say no to these false positives. And most people don't, because their life has been a series of mistakes and they don't even know what healthy feels like.
Yeah.
If you've never had healthy, well, that's why you come to someone like me. I'm like, no. You might not trust your judgment, but I really trust my judgment. My guy radar is spot on. I will not let you be in a bad relationship. If that's your biggest fear, is getting into another bad relationship, not on my watch.
Yeah.
Because if you have a boyfriend and you don't seem happy, I'm going to hold up the mirror and be like,
what you doing?
It's supposed to make you happy. If you're not happy, what are you doing? And that is hard because we've normalized. It takes work. He's a human being. He's busy. He's stressed. Yeah, and he's still supposed to be nice to you.
Right. Since when did you become, the fallout for his bad stuff?
Right.
Yeah. I'm a big believer in lists and writing things down and journaling. To me, it helps keep me on point. And it also helps me to reflect kind of in the rich detail of the emotions of the moment and the experience so that I don't hook back into, past decisions. But I think that writing down your list of what you want, your values, what matters to you in a person. Do you encourage your women to do that as well so that it's tangible, they can see it and always reference it?
Yeah, I have a very different way of going about it, though.
How do you do it?
Yeah, no, it's big. I don't know if I could do the whole thing here. It's like a 15-minute exercise. It's literally the last thing in my Love You program. Is exactly what you're talking about. It's like
Okay.
this laminated cheat sheet that you can use to navigate men after you leave the course. But the shortest version of it is this. There's what you want, which is what you're attracted to. You're allowed to be attracted to whatever you want. You like 6 feet tall guys? Great. You like guys with washboard abs? Great. You like guys with fancy cars? You like guys who like salsa dancing? Whatever you like, you're entitled to liking what you like. Just don't pretend that any of it has anything to do with a relationship, because there's 0% correlation between what you're attracted to and what's going to make you happy in the long run. Right, there's a study out of Northwestern last summer, Eli Finkel, if anybody wants to dig that up. 0% correlation between happy marriage and what you're attracted to. Now, we need a baseline of attraction, right? But there's never been, oh, we both like skiing, we're a happily married couple. We're both Catholic, we're a happily married couple. This has nothing to do with it. It has to do with how someone treats you. Yeah. So the best way to figure out what your needs are is to think of the relationships you've had that are the most significant in your life. Handful of relationships, 2, 3 guys you've been in love with.
Yes.
All right. I'll do this with you now.
Okay.
Dominique. Think of those men, including your ex. How did they fail you? If they had this thing, you'd still be with them, but they didn't. That is what you need. The things that the men that you loved failed to deliver for you, those become more important than 6 feet tall, college educated, makes more money than I do.
Absolutely.
So we work with where the other men failed. That's how we learn from our mistakes. And now our needs list becomes very, very different than what we look for when we browse online.
100%. And I can tell you upon reflection, and I've had plenty of time to do that through all relationships, to be valued, appreciated, and heard are the 3 markers that I need. That's it. And you're absolutely right. Height, hair color, job, anything else is absolutely insignificant.
It's bonus. You're allowed to be attracted to what you're attracted to. You shouldn't
absolutely.
be with anybody you're not attracted to. But the core thing that you have to have, right? And again, I have lots of little lists I do with clients, but one of them is safe, heard, and understood.
Absolutely.
Right. All right. Accepted, appreciated, admired.
Yep.
Right. And then there's a list of the 5 core characteristics. When I ask people to do this exercise, whatever they do, they pretty much come back with issues involving character, kindness, consistency, communication, and commitment. Yep. And if I gave you your dream guy and he was a bad communicator, dump him.
Dead.
Dump him. Doesn't matter. Nothing matters. The first 2 months, where he took you to dinner, how amazing your connection, how smart he is, none of it matters. So any one of these things is a deal breaker. Character, kindness, consistency, communication, commitment. And if we start dating like that and living like that, now we don't have to be so petrified of dating, because we know
it's so
what
simple.
it feels like. Right?
Yes.
So if you can adhere to that, you're going to be fine. Even if you never listen to another word that I say for the rest of your life, you now know what you need to have in a man to have a chance at a relationship.
And I want to button this up, because here is the mistake that most women make, including yours truly, who will never make it again. Oh, I can fix him. I can change him. How many times have you heard that?
It's day-to-day practice. But it's almost astonishing to think that we could barely change ourselves when we try.
Right. I know.
Like, we're all kind of works in progress, trying to get better. All of us are. And we could barely do it ourselves. The idea that you could change your partner, not at all. Not only can you not change your partner doesn't want you to change. He's not your project. He didn't ask for your feedback. He wants you to love him unconditionally and accept him as he is. So you have a choice. Accept him as he is with his flaws, or leave him. Those are the 2 choices. What you can't do is stay with him and keep fixing him. So either accept whatever he is. Oh, this guy's really messy. Oh, this guy makes less money than I do. Oh, this guy, when he gets drunk, gets angry, but that only happens twice a year. You either accept it, it's baked into the process, or you say, nope, I'd rather be alone and looking for someone better. Right? What you can't do is spend your whole time, and I say this as a guy who's married for 15 years, who is in the self-help business and thinks of all the ways he could change his wife. I'm not above this. I also recognize it doesn't matter.
Right.
She didn't hire me as a consultant. She's not my project. I need to meet her and respect her where she's at.
Yeah. Oh, this is so good. I could talk to you for hours.
We had fun today. I had a lot of fun today. You're really good at this.
Well, you are too. I so appreciate what you're doing. So tell first of all, will you come back?
If invited, I would be honored to come back and continue this conversation, because there's many rabbit holes we can go down that we couldn't begin to touch today. But I think we covered hopefully some useful ground for whoever's listening right now.
Absolutely. And let everybody know, Evan, where they can find you. Tell them more about your course as well. And then remind them again the promo that you're offering with Over 50.
Sure. My name is Evan Marquette. I'm a dating coach for smart, strong, successful women who have everything but the man. I'm kind of everywhere on the internet. I'm not special. I just give a lot of free information out. So any social media, you can find me, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. I do all the stuff. I'm there. Mm-hmm. I have my own podcast called the Love You Podcast. My signature course is called Love You. If you're really excited and you want to change your life and you're ready to do it now, you can go to evanmarkatz.com/apply. If you're not ready and you still want to heal a little bit, just get on my mailing list, go to my website, take a quiz, or take the free gift that I'm offering to Dominique's listeners, evanmarkatz.com/over50, the number 50. And I'll send you free dating and relationship advice. And I'm just, again, grateful to be able to share this message, and hope you found it empowering and exciting to know that there's hope and that you have more control over your destiny than you think you have.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Thank you. You're meeting women right where they are at any phase and any stage of this journey. So thank you for your content. Thank you for your information. I think sometimes it's just great to get seeds planted, let people hear you, explore the conversation, read more, learn more. And it's those things that sort of open us up to the possibility. And it's all in the preparation. It's all in the work. It's all in the understanding of what it is. And you broke it down so simply and so beautifully. The core of what makes a relationship work should not be hard, but these are basic human values that need to be honored and respected from one to another. And I love what you said. I can't wait to have you back. Maybe in the next forum, we do kind of a Q&A with the audience and loop in their questions, but I'm eager to explore the conversation and see where it goes, Evan.
I thank you so much for having me, Dominique. Really such a pleasure.
Thank you. Thanks so much. You get a sense that Evan's going to be back. I've got that feeling. Loved having this conversation. Look forward to so many more about a subject so important to all of us, because in the end, what is life about but relationships and connections that we have, and making those connections strong and healthy and viable. Speaking of great connections, I am grateful for you. I am so appreciative that you're here. As I say at the end of every podcast, and it's so important. Why? Because it grows this community. And that is, please take the time to rate the podcast, review it, subscribe, and share. Share me with those in your life. Share me with like-minded women. Share me with a daughter, a sister, a cousin, a friend. Let's grow this community. Let's let women over 50 flourish everywhere. Thanks so much for joining me today. Hey there, coffee lovers. Holidays just around the corner. And you know what that means? Cozy moments, festive gatherings, and of course, a cup of delicious coffee to savor. But let's get real. Finding a high-quality coffee that's both convenient and flavorful can be a challenge. That's where Cometeer comes in, changing the coffee game with hyper-fresh, flash-frozen coffee that delivers incredible flavor in seconds wherever you are. Go to Cometeer.com/over50 for an exclusive holiday starter pack and get a free travel tumbler when you sign up. That's a free fellow travel tumbler when you sign up at Cometeer.com/over50.